Hi, welcome to Sketching Matters. This is Andre. Um, as always, these videos on this channel are made in collaboration with Computers for Social Change. If you'd like to hear more about this awesome initiative, I'll leave a link in the video description. So this is a different style of video than what I've uploaded so far on this channel. I think I'll name this series something like Krita Toolbox, and these videos are going to be unscripted. I'm not really planning on what I'm going to be doing. It's just exploring and seeing what I can come up with in Krita, drawing, uh, seeing patterns, trying out different functionality and stuff like that. And I'll just be talking through it. Let's get into it. I'm using a one by Wacom drawing tablet. It doesn't have a display, so um, I'm drawing and then I'm looking at a computer screen while doing that. But hopefully, in later parts of this, I don't know yet what it's going to be called, this series, I'll also try out different tools and different ways of drawing that are also possible with the mouse or maybe with the keyboard and don't require a drawing tablet. All right, let's get right into it. I'll set up a document with some background color that's not exactly gray, just because I want to see um, a bit of a bigger contrast with what I'm drawing. Let's go with like a blue like this. Sure, wide. I'll put the resolution down a bit just to check that I'm not overloading my laptop. I'll put my background in as a fill layer for now. Let's do it. So I think maybe for now, if I actually plan on going with this metaphor of a toolbox, I'll start with just using the brush and the select, and we'll see how this series develops. Just so I know what's going on, I'll go into the settings very quickly, or actually into my window and workspace here, and I'll just like default so that it looks like what it might look like when you install Krita. Let me drag over this toolbox here um, and make my color selector a bit larger so I can see what I'm using. I'll put my layers here. Uh, okay, let's have a look at some of the brushes that you can use in Krita. There's a lot of them. You can see them on the right hand screen, hopefully. Um, You, in fact, could not see them really, so that was a quick cut. I'll try to avoid these in the future, but as I set up and try to figure out what's going on, yeah, I might have to pause sometimes, but they're not edited afterwards, these videos. So by going over here and clicking on this brush icon, I can start drawing, and there's also a convenient shortcut B whenever I need to come back to it. For now, I'll just select one of these pencil brushes because I want to start by sketching something out. Let's go with some darker color. I'll pick this kind of um, most reddish color just so there's something contrasting, and I'll start by sketching some shapes out. Uh, so I'm not really certain where I'm going with this series yet. It might just be me practicing drawing and seeing what's going on in Krita and talking through my thoughts and ideas as to how I think you can use this program for all sorts of different purposes. For image editing, I used a different tool there by using the shortcut S, which is the selection tool. And by clicking Control T or transform, I get this tool, which allows me to move this shape around, adjust its position and size and rotation as well, which is very convenient. So sometimes it's just second nature for me to come back to this selection tool by clicking S. But for now, let's actually just stick to brushing. I'll move these initial sketches to the side so I can see a bit better. So when I'm warming up drawing, I usually just try to go and draw a lot of maybe organic shapes. I find trees very helpful. Um, all sorts of rocks or basic poses of people standing up or people's facial expressions. I think that is a good way to practice, and it hasn't failed me so far. So and it's also enjoyable for me. So I'll probably keep coming back to these sketches throughout the series, and I'll see if, eventually I'll do some longer videos where I maybe try to finish a full illustration. For now, it's mainly just focused on me actually getting some drawing done. Um, Sometimes I forget to practice. Okay. Nice, that's a good starting tree. I'll move it to the side again by using the outline selection tool and then can control T for transform. I could also just select it like this, go around it, click the tool manually, but the shortcuts make a lot of things quicker, and eventually I'll probably go into the settings and I start playing with that as well. Okay, well, warm-up sketches are okay. I'll select everything, click Control X to delete it. And just so I'm clear, I'll start a new layer, which will be my background sketch. Whoops, can't spell. Background sketch. And I'll start maybe doing some sort of uh, like a like a pose. Could be a good way. Maybe some sort of a beast or an animal. Feeling in a mood to draw something fierce, something dangerous, maybe. I was thinking of maybe initially drawing some sort of a giant bird, but the way it's shaping up here, I think I'll go with something more insect-like. It's looking like a scorpion to me right now. Um, as I said, I don't really have a plan in mind. I'm just trying to see where my mind takes me. So, it's a bit later right now. It's almost 11 p.m. where I'm right now. Uh, Although, because it's December, the sun sets so early that sometimes it's hard to keep track of time. Um, I don't know. Uh, something about the sun being gone at around 4 p.m. is a bit disquieting, or like it drains the energy from me. So this is not looking like a scorpion anymore. Um, I think I tried to do the pincers here again, but it's not really looking how I'd like it to look. So I'm gonna select this again and just try to kind of skew it to appear more in the distance. Um, so definitely not going to be an anatomically correct the scorpion. I think I'll go for like some sort of a chimera, some sort of a mix of animals maybe. Um, How about this creature has hooves as the back feet? How about that? So there's these kind of spikier limbs, and I moved that again with just a quick S, which is the shortcut for the outline, and a Control T, which is something I'll be doing quite a lot when I just need to move stuff around and see things from a different position. Now it's looking almost more mechanical than animal-like, which is not what I was intending. Um, okay, so I'm just using the sketching brush right now to get some shapes across, but I kind of like this idea that maybe it's actually not an animal. Maybe it's a machine that looks like an animal. Oh, that's always a way to spice things up. Um, Pincers are there. Okay. The eyes are looking quite weird. I'll fix them up later. No need to rush things now. I kind of like this structure at the back. It almost looks mountain-like, so I'll continue adding a bit more definition here. Right now I'm not really focusing on sketching, or sorry, for drawing a lot of shading. I'll figure out the light source a bit later. Now I'm just trying to get some outlines done so I know what to draw on top of later. Okay, sure, that's the spike here. I kind of don't like how this is looming on top of the head, so I'll go with, again, S, the outline selection tool. I'll go around this whole thing. I'll squeeze it a bit, Control T. I would like it to be a bit more kind of arched around and pointing not directly downward. Let me see if I can kind of add like a bit of a curve to this so that maybe it's not actually a spike like on the back of a scorpion. Maybe it's to go in the chimera direction. Maybe it's actually a snake that is also attached to this machine-like animal. Okay, that doesn't look like any snake I've seen, but it will do for now. Let's add some fangs. Okay, just a light touch of shading here to make it look a bit more 3D. I'll increase my brush size. I can also increase my brush size by holding Shift and then moving my stylus, my tablet pen, left or right, and that kind of slides the size around, which can be quite useful for like quick adjustments. Okay, I really don't like the head. Let me do something with it. I actually don't want to erase this now. I'll just draw on top of it with a different layer of sketches. So this is going to be sketch 2. Not really keeping the names consistent, but this is going to be a short video, so I don't really mind. If I was doing a bigger project, I'd probably want to keep them more organized. Uh, let's do a second sketch with more like an inking brush here. So you can see that the sketch is a bit faded when I was using one of these pencil brushes, but when I use the ink, it's a bit more, I don't know how to say it, a bit more, it doesn't blend so much with the background. Which is fine sometimes. Like, I like it when I'm doing the initial sketch, but then when I want to get some definition on the lines I'm drawing, I'd prefer to see something more striking visually. Okay. I'm also using Control Z quite a lot, which, or Control Z, depending on where you are, which is letting me undo whatever I just did in case I don't like a line I made, or I'm just not comfortable with the shapes that I'm drawing and I want to readjust. It's quite a quick way to see what works, what doesn't, um, what might suit the drawing. Okay, let me add a bit more of a mechanic feel to this. Like maybe there's some like cogs in here. Quite messed it up. But whatever. It's just a sketch for now, so we'll see if anything actually comes out of it. Let me try to. Not super happy with these eyes, but I think they'll do. Okay, I'll keep adding more detail along the body here. I'm actually maybe thinking I should have still gone with more of a pencil brush for the second version of the sketch, just because now that I'm looking at it, um, sometimes these bold outlines like make it seem like you're actually doing the line art or trying to uh, get the exterior outlines, which is not necessarily what I'm going for here. I'll try to maybe like add a carapace here or something like that, some bristles at the top. As I said, this is not meant to be a real creature. By clicking control and then hovering, I can pick colors as well. If I wanted to switch to this tool from the toolbox, I would just go here. Instead of selecting the brush, I can select this color sampler, which just lets me grab the color of the background or the red I was using again, and that helps me keep my palette consistent. I'll just go with a darker color here, switch back to my brush, um, add somewhat of an outline around these eyes, but I don't want to make them too kind of obviously standing out. I want there to be a bit of um, information that the mind has to fill in. Uh, okay, I'm just adding some tones right now with this darker blue color. Let me add some volume to the carapace around the neck area here. Maybe there's some vertebrae in the background, maybe not. As I said, I'm still not sure if this is meant to be a creature or a machine. A lot of the times I'm not actually sure what I'm drawing, uh, which might not be the best thing. Sometimes it's good to be organized. Um, Although sometimes also I think it also helps to just have a bit of leeway, in which case you can change a drawing on the fly and change the concept on the fly, and I think that can be quite exciting. Okay, let me just maybe emphasize that this is not meant to be just a spike on the back, but that it's actually somehow living or attached to this other creature. Let me come back to my red. I'm also zooming in and out quite quickly by holding Control, then holding spacebar, and moving my stylus on the drawing tablet, and it just helps me move around the screen quite fast. When I hold spacebar, I can also pan by holding the stylus down. Some of these settings can be adjusted in Krita itself. Some of them might be dependent on the machine you're using, on the stylus and on the tablet that you have, or if you're using a mouse, it might be quite different. There you can just scroll in using the mouse wheel, for instance. So it's always best to just confirm what your settings are, uh, and adjusting them based to your needs. A lot of it is about practice and finding what works for you, because what works for me might not necessarily uh, be the best solution for what you're trying to do. Um, okay, some sort of a creature. Let me just maybe create one background layer, and I'll very quickly try to add some tones. I'll pick a kind of a dark reddish color. I'll turn down my opacity to about 50% so that the color is a bit transparent and I don't draw over what I'm doing. But I'm also putting it here, and let's do something like background tones for this layer, um, which is already drawing it under what I've done here before, but by putting it at 50% opacity, I just make sure I don't kind of overpower some of the tones that I've put in. I'll try to kind of keep this to one brush stroke so that I don't draw over my 50 opacity with another 50 opacity. That makes it 75%, and that already gets quite sometimes quite disruptive. Sometimes you just want things to be in this consistent tone. Here around the tail area, I'll make it a bit darker. But I'm not going to be like going in too heavy with these shadows. I just want to add some 3D shape. Let's emphasize that this is a hoof. Maybe let's add a bit of a cast shadow. I don't like that. Control Z. That's how easy it is. Just trying things out. I think that's what this Krita Toolbox thingy will be about. Let's try. I'll maybe do a bit more of a kind of skewed shadow with a lower opacity even. I'll just kind of toss this under there. I'm not trying to be super diligent right now. Okay, sure, why not? So this is still more of a warm-up sketch. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll probably leave this video here. So thank you for watching if you got this far. And see you next time on Krita Toolbox.